Hello, this is Miss Jane Says, intuitive page flipping. So make an annual date with your best friend to go for a mammogram together. It's a great way to get something done that's potentially unpleasant and to give each other support in what can be a stressful time. It took about 5 minutes for the two of us, and it didn't hurt a bit. Better yet, my friend found out that her lump was nothing but a normal mass of tissue. Definite cause for celebration. We then enjoyed a nice lunch, and we laughed about our experience. My friend told me I knew how to make something uncomfortable a whole lot of fun. The same can be true when you are overly critical with yourself. I have always been my own worst judge. And can see all too clearly the areas that I need to improve. For instance, instead of focusing on my devotion to my family and all that I do, often I catch myself penning over the areas in which I feel I'm lacking. I have learned that the only place that kind of thinking will get me is down. By catching myself thinking these kinds of thoughts, I can bring my attention back to all that I do instead of all that I don't do. Guilt is a familiar emotion to a perfectionist. Say goodbye to magnifying your flaws and say goodbye to some unwarranted guilt. There is great freedom in becoming a reformed perfectionist, realizing that perfection does not exist in this world. Yeah, she got married 6 months ago. She used to be very pretty. This might be mean to say, but yeah, what happened? Maybe that's a good reason not to get married. I was shocked that these women would have the audacity to make such ugly comments in a public setting. It was the perfect illustration of how we hold others to this measuring stick of perfection while magnifying their flaws. When we make comments and observations of this nature, it speaks more about how we feel about ourselves and our obvious low self-esteem than of how we see others. Stop magnifying the flaws. We can be highly critical and such harsh judges of one another, as if it's a cheap form of entertainment. We call our friend to revel in how our coworker blew it in the meeting. We repeat negative stories. We criticize people for not fitting our perfect images. We look down on people who are overweight or have other physical problems. And in addition, we constantly berate ourselves for not being perfect. In fact, we wear our perfectionist badge as if it's one of honor. Rarely do we hear people praising each other. You will not see many front-page news articles written on love. Love, it seems, is the scariest emotion of all in this day and age.